This is Story Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain an action and thriller film called The Forever Purge. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. In 2048, while tracking the planes, a couple, Joanne and Adela, encounter an outpost. Joanne hands a group of men money to avail their services. A young boy leads them into an underground tunnel until they reach the end. The boy wishes them good luck and advises them to follow the roads if they need help. Reports of a surge in illegal immigrants are all over the news. Mexican drug cartels and their violence have pushed people to move to the US, similar to what Joanne and Adela did. They migrated in search of the American dream, but wonder if there is still such a dream. Racial discrimination and white supremacy have grown prevalent, making it difficult for foreigners. The new Founding Fathers of America, or NFFA, have brought back the annual purge. A day without laws, angry Americans, and a rise of the minority might entail the most destructive purge yet. 10 months later, on the eve of the purge, Harper Tucker watches as her brother, Dylan, makes a fool of himself while trying to tame a horse. Their father, Caleb, doesn't understand why Dylan always has to prove something. The horse overpowers Dylan and he accepts his loss. Joanne dramatically enters the pen and successfully calms the horse down. Joanne looks at Caleb and they exchange nods of respect. In a butcher shop, Adela is a supervisor to fellow immigrants. Her boss, Darius, commends her work and says he's lucky to have her. In their home, Joanne and Adela share a steamy kiss and some guac. Adela reminds Joanne to practice his English, but he doesn't think it's necessary. During dinner at the Tucker home, Dylan seems bored with the conversation. A woman talks about their Mexican maid who cooks delicious food. She invites Dylan to meet her, but he isn't interested. Dylan says he doesn't want his kids to get influenced by those people. The next day, while Adela listens to her English lessons, she sees two men with their new weapons. Guns and ammunition are 40% because of the purge. On the ranch, Dylan confronts Joanne for being late. Joanne explains that he wasn't late, but Dylan ignores his excuses. This frustrates Joanne, and he quietly curses Dylan in Spanish. While Joanne talks to a horse, Caleb comes into the stall to apologize for Dylan's behavior. Joanne thinks Dylan acts indifferent towards him because he is Mexican. Caleb raised Dylan as a proud American, but Dylan might be too proud for his own good. Caleb didn't intend that to happen, but the way the world has been changing might have factored in. He hands Joanne his purge protection bonus and wishes him safety. Joanne's fellow immigrant co-worker, Kirk, has a grudge against Americans, and he doesn't plan to use his bonus for protection. With an hour away from the purge, everyone locks down. Joanne and Adela stand outside their home, waiting for Titi, Joanne's co-worker. Meanwhile, Dylan locks the ranch and their home. On a school bus, Joanne, Adela, and Titi arrive at a walled sanctuary with armed men to protect them. Titi pays the entrance fee and they make their way inside. In the Tucker household, they watch the purge announcement. In the sanctuary, the immigrants do the same. Alarms blare, anxiety builds, and laws dissolve. Out on the streets, people are killing each other. In contrast, peace exudes inside the sanctuary and the Tucker home. In front of a fireplace, Caleb dances with Harper. Dylan hears an odd noise outside and looks at the surveillance. Dylan hears the noise again, causing him to miss a person running by outside. He enters the garage with a gun in hand. There, he sees that the noise is coming from a generator. Dylan checks his safe with guns and bullets. As he closes it, his pregnant wife, Cassidy, sneaks up to him. Dylan explains himself, and their tension leads to a passionate kiss. Crime persists outside, and Adela stands with a guard on the rooftop. She shares that it's her first purge, but chaos like this was a regular thing back in Mexico. Vehicles approach them, and Adela doesn't hesitate to aim at them with a rifle. The vehicles are from the Purge Purification Force, a nationalist purger group that wants to rid America of non-whites. Inside the trucks are people getting tortured. Later that night, the Tucker household is fast asleep except for Dylan. Alarms blare once again, alerting Joanne and the immigrants. The gates open, which means they survived their first purge. Dylan is outside with a cup of coffee, starting his day like usual. Meanwhile, Titi converses with Joanne about how he thinks the day after the purge should be a holiday, and Adela walks through a sidewalk vandalized with blood. In the locker room, while Adela prepares for work, a reporter announces the purge's end. Suddenly, a man out of frame shouts that it's fake news and shoots the reporter. Adela gets to the butchering station and sees that most of the employees are missing. Adela goes outside and finds a caged goat. As Adela pulls a lever to free the goat, a metal bar clamps down on her neck. Men with rabbit masks reveal themselves, and the trap flips Adela. A metal spike stares down at her from the contraption, and she shouts for help. On the ranch, Dylan is surrounded by masked bandits. Moments later, Titi and Joanne arrive at the ranch, and they notice that the gate is open. The rabbit men approach Adela, and they announce the Forever Purge. As the metal spike nears her, Darius comes to her rescue, killing one of the men. Darius frees Adela but gets attacked by the other rabbit man. Adela strangles and holds the man down. With the button in his hand, Darius presses it and the spike is fired into the rabbit man's head. Police arrive at the scene and arrest Adela and Darius without hesitation. Meanwhile, Titi and Joanne find it odd that the ranch is empty. They see the horses running around and they stop to chase after them. A masked man walks up to the captured Tuckers. He removes the mask, revealing that he's Kirk, before attacking Dylan. Kirk announces that this is the beginning of a power transition. They start shooting and shouting about the Forever Purge. Titi and Joanne hear this and they run towards them. Kirk plays with Dylan and threatens to kill Harper. He makes Dylan feel hopeless as he points a gun at Harper's head. Titi and Joanne watch them from a distance and Caleb sees them. Caleb starts struggling to distract Kirk. This gives Titi and Joanne time to get weapons. As Caleb gives his final insult, he receives a bullet to the head. A shootout commences. Titi and Joanne kill Kirk, but his allies survive and escape. They free the Tuckers, and in the distance, more purgers arrive. They all get in a truck and leave. The police receive reports of crime continuing in the area. In the back of the police van are Darius, Adela, and two strangers. Joanne can't reach Adela's phone, making him worry. They turn on the radio, and reports of the Forever Purge are all over the country. Joanne receives a call from Adela's co-worker, telling him that Adela was arrested. The truck encounters a blocked path, with the police station only a few blocks away. Titi and Joanne plan to go on foot to rescue Adela. Dylan asks them to hurry because the area isn't safe. Despite Dylan's advising her not to, Harper joins them as she feels indebted. In the police van, the stranger distinguishes the types of guns and bullets being fired outside. A purger shoots the vehicle with an RPG and they flip and crash. Meanwhile, Dylan sees someone from the side mirror. He orders Cassidy to lock the door while he exits the truck to look for the purger he saw. Suddenly, a masked man climbs onto the truck door. Dylan then shoots him. As he passes the man's body, another masked man attacks him with a sledgehammer. Dylan overpowers him and bashes the man's head in. The police van is on its side, and the man inside breaks free. He immediately gets on top of Adela, and Darius tries to stop him. Adela gouges his eyes out, allowing Darius to choke him from behind. He breaks the man's neck, but the fight is far from over as purgers try to get in. The van door opens, and it's Joanne and the group. The truck arrives right on time, and Darius separates from them to find his family. They drive off, passing through the destroyed community. After some time, they stop at a motel and gas station. Inside the store are a dead attendant and customer. Titi finds a jar of peanut butter, while Harper finds a jar of jelly, implying that those spreads might not be the only thing on top of each other. In a motel room, Cassidy opens up to Adela about her worries for the baby. While Adela confronts her, they receive news of the NFFA declaring martial law. The military will be sent to every city to stop the violence. Outside, Adela reports that every city has gone into chaos. There's nowhere else to go and no one to ask for help. Titi exits the store with a radio. Mexico and Canada will open their borders for the next 6 hours and provide shelter until order in the US is restored. With time running out, they choose to go to Mexico. While driving to Mexico, everyone is asleep except Dylan and Joanne. Joanne asks him if he has a problem with Mexicans. Dylan doesn't hate Mexicans, but he believes that every heritage should just keep to themselves. Joanne disagrees since despite their different cultures, they have proven that they can coexist. They arrive in El Paso, Texas, with 3 hours left until the border closes. The military has arrived in the city. The crew makes their way through all the chaos, and they reach a blocked path. The truck broke down, and with the border near, they're going on foot. The men lead the way, shooting everyone they come across. They're near the main road, and they get out on the streets. The group enters a diner, and Dylan instructs them all to keep their heads down. Bullets hit the window, but they cross safely. As soon as a truck passes, they make their way to a theater on the other side. A tank shoots in their direction, causing debris to block the theater's entrance. Joanne is disorientated, and he hobbles towards Adela. They're blocked off, so Joanne tells Adela to find another way out. Adela leads the way, with Cassidy right beside her. Meanwhile, the rest try to find a way around the tank. Joanne notices the roses on the wall and remembers what the young boy told them before. Outside the theater, Adela and Cassidy stop to grab a rifle. Adela reveals that she and Joanne fought the Mexican cartel before arriving in America. While following the roses, Joanne and the group get surrounded. The purgers order them to drop their weapons, and they reluctantly follow. The purgers leader gives Dylan and Harper a choice to kill Joanne and TT so that they can live. Dylan and Harper insult them, and the leader's wife berates them. She aims her gun at Joanne, but then she turns and shoots TT in the abdomen. Harper holds his lifeless body in her arms. The military arrives and shouts for them to drop their weapons. A shootout commences, and the wife calls for backup. Joanne gets a hold of her gun, turns it to her, and shoots. The group escapes, and more purgers roll in and eliminate the military. With his wife dead, the leader requests backup as he plans his revenge. Adela and Cassidy finally reach the last rows. They enter a building, hoping that the group will be there. Fellow immigrants meet them inside, and Joanne and the others are nowhere to be seen. Adela is losing hope, but then Joanne and the others appear. As they reunite, Joanne breaks the news of TT's death. On television, the news reports about the government pulling out all military units in El Paso. To make things worse, Mexico has closed off access points in their borders near the city. Joanne and Adela overhear a woman's plans to evacuate them. Outside, the chaos continues on the streets when a truck arrives. A Native American tribe leader, Chieko, offers to bring them to Mexico. Meanwhile, the purgers' leader receives news of the evacuees' movements. As the sun rises, the truck nears Mexico. Chieko tells Joanne about passages his people created that will help them cross the border. Cassidy is close to entering labor, raising the stakes even higher. Harper notices purgers on their tail. They're heading to treacherous terrain, but the obstacle chasing them might be even more dangerous. The truck arrives at the camp, and they prepare to travel on foot. Dylan urges Cassidy to leave without him, as he plans to hold off the purgers. Harper accompanies her, and they ride up the mountain. Joanne and Adela stay behind as well, and with a few rounds of ammo left, odds are stacked against them. The purgers close in. An arrow is fired, blowing up a purger's vehicle. A shootout begins, and both parties suffer losses. The group retreats after running out of ammo. They take cover at the back of a van, and the purgers advance to flush them out. They stop firing, and the group has disappeared. The group takes shelter in a nearby shed, as he accepts that all they can do now is slow the purgers down. Joanne and Adela profess their love for each other. Bikers surround the shed, and purgers enter. Behind the Longhorn Skulls are allies who kill the purgers. While this is happening, a group of purgers hunts down the evacuees far up in the mountain. A bike then rams through the shed. The purger knocks out Adela, and then Dylan returns the favor. More purgers enter, and their numbers overpower them. Adela regains consciousness, reaches for a gun, and shoots a purger despite her blurry vision. Suddenly, the purger's leader pulls Adela outside. Joanne and Dylan eliminate the rest, and with their ropes, they'll try to rescue Adela. The allies use the environment to their advantage and pick off the other purgers with their bows. The purger's leader takes Adela hostage. Joanne is busy slitting a purger's throat and stealing his gun. Like the cowboys they are, Joanne and Dylan lasso the leader. Joanne then shoots him in the head. Their horrors are finally over, and on the horizon is their new home, Mexico. They drop their weapons and cross the border. Dylan enters a tent and reunites with his family and newborn baby girl. Joanne and Adela congratulate them, and Dylan thanks them in Spanish. Countless tents are set up near the border for American refugees. Joanne and Adela fled their country to escape violence, but America introduced them to a new form of it, discrimination. For the Tuckers, it was the people who they wrongly treated who helped them in the end. The NFFP and the US have fallen, and the purge might just go on forever.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.